Hello, and thanks for coming to the Institute of Future Technology. On behalf of Dr. Emmett Brown, Institute founder and Chief Inventive Officer, we hope that you have a very pleasant visit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important announcement to make. Magic Mike is about to enter the building.
Well, hello, greetings, family and friends, and welcome to Hollywood Toys, the only place where you can live the movies. I am your host, Magic Mike, and welcome to my channel where I do travel and entertainment vlogs, where I cover theme parks, comic and horror cons, movies, celebrities, action figures, video games, and so much more. And I also have some pretty cool action figure and movie merch as well. So, be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell so that you won't miss out on any future videos, lives, or new product releases. And now, It's magic time. How is everybody doing today? Hello to all my beautiful friends out there. Thank you for coming and joining me here today on this glorious Hollywood Toys Day. All right. Wow, we got a lot of people here today. We got my good friends Mama Barrow 6, aka Tina, Exune Visions, Pixel Protocol, The Carrie Show, and more. Oh, yeah. So, hi, Tina, Mama Bear. Exum says, hi, Mike. Hello. And Tina says, hi, Visions. All right, all right. Yeah, would. That's right. Pixel Protocol, that is right. And Tina says, hi, everyone. Hi, Pixel. And the Carrie Show also says, hello, everyone. Let's all say hello to my new good friend, Carrie from the Carrie Show. That's right. And okay, it's supposed to stork here today. I don't know if I'll be able to stream. I think you meant storm, maybe. Yeah, that makes more sense. WCW champion David Arquette. Really? He's in wrestling too? Boy gets around. Storm, not Shork. That's right. And Carrie says, hello to Tina. All right. And Carrie says, welcome, Magic Mike. Well, welcome to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And heck yeah. So here we are for another live. So today I'm going to be talking about Scaradise 2026. New vlog coming up later on tonight at 8 o'clock. Tune in and be there or be square. So we'll be talking about that as well as past conventions and everything like that. So as well as ask me anything along the way. Don't be shy. I'm here for you. Yeah, they gave him the WCW World Championship around the time Ready 2 Rumble came out. He got back into wrestling a few years back for a great documentary. That's cool. All right. And Carrie says, how old am I? Well, I don't like to reveal publicly my actual age, for privacy and security reasons, but I'm pretty old. Probably old enough to be almost everybody's here father, maybe even grandfather. I'm pretty gosh darn old, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I appreciate the questions. Keep those questions coming. And she says that's okay. I knew you would understand. Thank you very much. So, yeah. So, Scaradise 2026, which was this past weekend. Carrie says I'm older than 47. You gotta be kidding me. You can't be no more than in your 30s. You look way too young to be that old. Find that hard to believe. Pixel says, first video game I ever remember playing. Well, I grew up in New Jersey, Jersey City, before I moved to Florida way back in the day. So the very first video game system I remember playing was Atari. So played Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Donkey Kong. So Carrie says, no, I'm 47. Well, you look pretty dang good for 47, I gotta say. So, yeah, nothing like being blessed with looking younger than your age. Am I a Trauma fan? I don't know what that is. Carrie says, we have good genes in my family. Thanks, Mike. You're welcome, Carrie. All right. So, we had Scaradise Horror Convention this past weekend, which took place from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, I went to Friday show. Let's see here. Strong Bear, Dave, what's up? Dave, thanks for coming and joining me here today as well. All right. So, Scaradise convention. This was actually my 7th convention. And so this is my second, I don't know how I would even put it, if it's my second Scaradise or my first. because they did change the name. It used to be called Spookala, because it originated in Ocala, however you pronounce that city's name, and there was some issues over the name. So Spookala, came to Tampa, but then decided to change the name. So when I went to Spookala for the first time, that was back in 2024 in Tampa, where I got to meet Jurassic Park legend Wayne Knight. So that is on the channel. So that was probably my second or third convention. So this is my second time going back to Tampa for Scaradise. So it's my second Spookala / first Scaradise. I don't know. It's confusing. So it's going to be Scaradise from now on. So yeah, Scaradise or Spookala 2024 was a super fun convention. One of my favorite videos that I made, where I got to meet David Arquette and Wayne Knight, and that might have been it off the top of my head. I can't think of anybody else. But that's the thing when it comes to these conventions, because my movie knowledge is so non-vast and so minimal, that for 99% of these conventions, out of the lineup of 20 to 30 celebrities that they might have, I only might know of maybe 5, 6, 7 at the most that I either want to meet, let alone even heard of. As was the case, of course, with Scaradise. They had like 20, 30 different people, and I only knew of like 5 or 6, and out of the 5 or 6, there's only a few out of those that I actually, wanted to take the time and meet and all that. So, let's see. Oh, it's a Jersey-based small film company that did stuff like Toxic Avenger. So, another thing that me and New Jersey have in common. All right. Was that fun? I've never seen a convention except on YouTube. Oh yeah, they're all fun. You could check out all my past convention videos. As a matter of fact, now I've updated my playlist, so I'll post it right there, where it has all of my convention videos, starting with my very first one, which was MegaCon Orlando 2024, which took place in 2024, where they had the Back to the Future reunion cast, where they had the panel and you had the meet and greets. So, quite a heck of a convention to choose for my first convention. But not only my first convention, but my first on-camera Hollywood Toys Magic Mike video ever. So call it the pilot episode, so to speak. So yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about that. Conventions past, present, and future. Carrie says, "Oh, okay, thanks. I'll check them out later." I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So yeah, and for years I've always wanted to go to conventions, but just haven't had the time, or finance didn't allow it, or whatever. And I was always like kind of jealous of all the great conventions that seem to take place halfway across the world, or in California and San Diego and all that, where you had all these great Back to the Future reunions, but nothing near me, and it makes sense, of course. Most of those actors live in California, LA, Hollywood, and all that stuff. So I know it's a bit more to get them to travel, across the U.S., for little old us here in Florida. But I don't know if it's just me, but it just seems like the past like 5 to 10 years, we've had some great conventions with some really big names and surprising names that I used to only hear about or see, in other states and in California only, and things like that. And Carrie says, "Yeah, I hear about the California ones too." Right. And it wasn't the first time the Back to the Future cast came to MegaCon. And I don't know if it was the first time, but it was either 23 or 22 where the cast came to MegaCon Orlando that Adam the Woo went to, and got to meet some of the Back to the Future cast. It is also well known that Adam the Woo was actually really good friends with Tom Wilson, and their videos together. And Tom Wilson made a great video, his own kind of personal tribute after the passing of Adam the Woo. So that would have been one time I might have had a chance to meet Adam had I gone back then. But for whatever reason, I don't remember why I missed it or didn't go. But it actually had Michael J. Fox, Tom Wilson, Leah Thompson, Christopher Lloyd, and James Tolkien, aka Mr. Strickland. So 2023 got one extra bonus Back to the Future actor. And Yak says he's listening while he makes dinner. Ah, thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for being here, my friend. And Tina says, hi, Yakov. So then when I saw that, they were coming in 2024, Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson. Did I say Michael J. Fox the first time? Because, yeah, it was those four plus James Tolkien the year or two before. And in 2024, it was just the four of them. So I was like, you know what? Here's an opportunity to jump on that and have a chance to, get a photo with, the four main cast. And then at the same time, make a video out of it and put it on YouTube and get this Hollywood Toys journey started. So kind of a bit of an origin story, if you will. And again, being too that it was my first convention ever with no experience whatsoever and didn't know what I was getting into aside from watching other YouTubers' videos and whatnot. From what I have seen, I know that for any of these conventions where they have these celebrities, usually they have their own tables where you can wait in line and get a table selfie and or autograph, basically a meet and greet. And then they have professional photo ops where you go to a different area and you pay a little bit more, and you get a professional photograph with the celebrity. So, being that I knew I was only going to be there for one day, I didn't want to take the risk of trying to meet all four of them individually, because who knows how long it would take to stand in line. What if I only got one or two at the most, and then the whole day is gone? Not only that, they had the Q&A panel, which I also wanted to make it a point to get to, especially to record, to also add to the YouTube vlog. Being my first one ever, I wanted to get as much as I could. But they also had the professional photo ops. They had, I think they had them to where you could get a photo op with either the individual actor separately. They had one where you can get one with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, and then they had the one where you can get the photo with all four at the same time. So I just decided, you know what? Just to make sure I get all four of them, I just decided to go with a professional photo op to get all four. So that way I'm only waiting in line once and pretty much guaranteeing getting the photo with all four versus risking trying to get them individually and not being able to get everybody. So that's how that came about. So got that done and got that all done in time to hit the Q&A, and was able to record the entire thing and made for my first ever pretty cool convention vlog. So with that, we will go here. All right, so, and then the second one was Super RetroCon in 2024, where I met Eddie Deason and Keith Coogan, and is the convention where I unknowingly at the time accidentally got Zach on camera, because he was hanging out with Eddie Deason that day. So, he left a comment on my video saying, hey, I was there that day. I'm in the vlog. I was assisting with Eddie Deason that day, or something like that. So I checked out his channel and I started liking his content and subscribed. And but when I looked back at the video, I couldn't find him because he said he was with Eddie Deason. So I looked at all the parts of the video where I'm with Eddie, Deezen, all around at his table, and I didn't see him anywhere. And I'm like, maybe was he behind the scenes? Was he whatever? And then it wasn't until months later that he said he was over uh, by Eddie when he was with the DeLorean. So then I looked at the video again, and then there he is, clear as day. Just has to get that screen time in no matter what. Just kidding. Again, had no idea who he was at the time or whatever. I was just, taking it all in, and cool to catch a moment of Eddie, not only Eddie Deezen, but him getting a picture inside the DeLorean that they had there. Yeah. So those are my first two celebrity meet. No, well, formal meet. My first two celebrity meet and greets, not counting the Back to the Future photo op from there. And I had some technical issues, and I wanted to get more for the blog, but overall, even though I didn't get everything I wanted, the video itself, I think, turned out just good enough. It's sometimes, it's a good thing how sometimes, when I'm there, I might not get every shot that I wanted, or something didn't go the way I planned it, and I'm excited yet kind of disappointed at the same time with what I get versus what I didn't get. But then then through some miracle and a little bit of luck, it always seems to come together in the final edit. Because I sometimes discover things accidentally. They call them happy accidents, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can, so I'm coming up with ideas that I didn't plan or anticipate while I'm editing, and it all works out in the end, which was the case this past weekend. So that was that, and that took place in Tampa at the Florida State Fairgrounds. Then after that, okay, so my third one was Spookala 2024 with Wayne Knight, Jurassic Park theme video, where I met Dave Arquette and Wayne Knight, and then recorded his Q&A panel, and also where I met Tampa J, another good friend of Adam the Woo. So I got to interview him on camera in that vlog as well. And thanks to Tampa J is the reason I even knew that Wayne Knight was even doing a Q&A. I had no idea, because I was in the celebrity area and I spotted him beelining it, walking somewhere. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to track him down, So I didn't want to stop him in his tracks. I wanted to, so I kind of followed him and wanted to wait for him to go wherever he was going, settle in, whatever, and not try and like, hey, over here, So, and as it turns out, he was there with his fiance, Chris the girl, because they went over to the seating area where they were going to have the Q&A panels. So he was there with her, and got to meet them, and of course, very nice, the nicest people that you'll ever meet, and some of the greatest YouTubers that you'll ever see. So definitely check out Tampa J and Chris the Girl here on YouTube. He also featured me in his Spookala video, since I was cosplaying as a Jurassic Park employee. So there was that. And again, Tampa J was there, but no Adam the Woo. And of course, for years of watching Adam the Woo, I know he always goes to all these conventions, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get out there and get started with my own YouTube channel. Is not only inspired by Adam, but also wanting to do these conventions, because it was like two things in one. So I'm like, all right. So at some point, it's inevitable that I'll have a chance to meet him by going to these same conventions that he's always going to, or seeing him at a Disney park or something like that. So, Queersman26, yo! What's up? How you doing today? All right. So, there was that, and then, after that was Collecticon Orlando 2024, where they had Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, as well as Peter Cullen. They had Chuck Norris, and they had Ray Parker from Star Wars. and a whole bunch of other video game and Pokemon voice artist people that I didn't know who they were, but I was able to meet the voice of Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, as well as Amy Jo Johnson, one of my childhood crushes, and as well as record Peter Cullen's Q&A. So that convention I didn't like because it was crowds of people, but in such a small space, and it was at the Orange County Convention Center, so they could have had a bigger space. It's all like if it was in a bigger space where the crowds could be more spread out, it would have been more manageable. But I would say out of all the conventions I've been to so far, that has been, I think, the most claustrophobic in terms of people. But it is what it is, it's all about the experience. So, and then after that was my very first Spooky Empire in Orlando, where they had Chucky stars Christina Elise and Alex Vincent, and E.T. stars Henry Thomas and Dee Wallace, and a whole bunch of other people, some that I knew, some that I didn't. There was someone else there that I also, if I had extra time or money, I would have met them, but I didn't, So be sure to check that out. I'm still waiting to see if I'm going to go to the next Collecticon, but there's no like updates on any extra guests or people that they're going to have that at least would make me want to go. And then after that was a super surprise, having the opportunity, the chance to meet the other man, the myth, the legend himself, Crispin Glover from Back to the Future. And that was, Quizman says, Randall would be jealous you met Amy Jo Johnson. I could have sworn I seen him meet her on a video somewhere. Maybe not. So yeah. So Crispin Glover, for those of you that don't know and also want to meet him, he makes his own independent movies and travels with those movies and does screening of those movies. And then after the movie, he will sign. He also writes books, so he will sign his book, and then you can get a picture with him at no extra cost. Unlike at a convention where prices are anywhere between $50 and up to get a selfie with one of the celebrities. Yeah, but he would see you as competition. No, come on now. No way. Randall wants Amy Jo Johnson all to himself. Well, no worries. I'm not after her. You can have her. So yeah. So as I explained in the video that I made where I met him, he had legal issues with the production of Back to the Future 2. So since he's had a kind of a soured experience, and Back to the Future isn't one of his favorite things to talk about because of that. So, because of that, you'll never see him at a regular convention of any kind. So the only way to meet him is to go to one of his movie screenings and then meet him afterwards. And again, you could buy one of his books, but he won't sign anything else outside of stuff that he produces personally. So he won't sign any Back to the Future items. Even on the ticket, it even says, do not bring any Back to the Future items. So, that's understandable. Even though here and there, I don't know, I guess it depends on the circumstance. Sometimes he does sign things. I don't know. Maybe it depends on his mood too. So, yeah. So that's 5 Back to the Future stars that I've gotten photos with, and looking forward to more. And then after that was Collector Fest Orlando, my first toy-only convention. I otherwise wouldn't have had any interest in going because the only conventions that I want to go to are ones that have actors that I want to meet. But I wanted to meet Zach and the gang, so I figured why not? Let's check it out, and I'm glad I did. Glad I went, had a lot of fun, and made a pretty okay video out of that too. And then finally, that brings us to good old Scaradise 2026, where again they had like 20 or 30 or so people. Um, and of course, at these Scaradise slash Spookala events, uh, almost 99% of the time, they always have some actors from the Scream movies, of which I've not seen any and not interested in. You know, mainly people from Scream, Terrifier franchises that I don't know anything about or haven't seen myself. So of course Dave Arquette is always there. He came back, and Matthew Lillard, which gets the longest lines ever. So I'm glad he's not on my wish list of people to meet, along with a whole bunch of others, along with Elizabeth Shannon and Violet McGraw, James Remar, and Back to the Future star Tom Wilson himself, which I think is his first Scaradise, because I don't think I've ever seen him at anything else other than MegaCon Orlando. So yeah, it was a case of about 20 or 30 people that I didn't know who most of them were. Um, and again, like most conventions, they all have their own individual tables, as you'll see in the video, where you can get an autograph or a selfie or both. So most of the time, when will offer a combo deal of you can get an autograph and selfie at a discounted rate than if you were to pay for them individually. So me personally, I'm not into autographs. I'm there to get photos, maybe get, some on video here and there. Although once I get to a point of like have met and gotten selfies with everyone that I could possibly want to meet, and there's nothing left to do after that, then I'm thinking about going into getting autographs, but not just one autograph, per person. I'm thinking more the lines of like getting a movie poster and then start collecting autographs from people from that movie on that one poster. So like a Child's Play poster, and getting Alex to sign it, and Christine and Brad Dourif, and Chris Sarandon and all the people that starred in that movie, maybe doing one for Terminator or Terminator 2, and getting Linda Hamilton and Edward Furlong and the Patrick guy. You know who I'm talking about. Robert Patrick, because they do conventions all the time, and they have been here to Florida before, but for one reason or another, I didn't get a chance to go to those. Yeah. Vision says, I read the book. Randy wrote about Amy falling in love with him. It was very interesting. Queersman says, I heard it was based on a true story. Yes, it's in the future, but still true. Nice. So yeah, so with Scaradise, we have the actors at their table where you can go and get an autograph and selfie, and then they also have Q&A panels. And it just so happened that on Friday it was Shannon Elizabeth, who, of course, I'm a fan of, because I'm a fan of the American Pie franchise. Very funny movies. I hope they do another reunion style type of movie. And Strong Bear says, Amy Jo is closer to my age. Wow. Isn't it fantastic how young they look, though? Like, even though she's way older than me, you look at our photo together, and if you didn't know our ages, we look almost the same age. Like, figure that out. And I could even say she probably looks younger than me, even though she's older than me. As is the case with a lot of actors that I've met so far, where they look younger than me, but they're way older. Um, So American Pie and one of the funniest movies ever, and probably my favorite Kevin Smith movie, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That's just one of those movies I could just watch over and over again and, have a ball. And yeah, so love her work. 13 Ghosts is okay. It's one of those movies. It's a love-hate movie. I love the premise, but just, this glass house concept, and it's supposed to be a house that you're supposed to live in and be comfortable in, but it doesn't feel like a house. It's more like a fortress castle, kind of like, even without the ghost, would just have um just this creep factor about it with all the moving parts and the gears and the, like, it doesn't feel like a home, obviously. Um Strongbear says Walter Jones and I are the same age. Man, that's amazing. And I just was watching some interviews with him, and I did not know that as a kid he accidentally shot off his ring finger on his left hand when he was like 8. So all throughout the Power Rangers shows, I never noticed it. So just another fun fact about the Black Ranger. And let's see here. Um, so price-wise, Scaradise, not too bad. Um, only $30 on Friday. So here's another tip or trick. If you want to pay less, get more done, and if you can, Friday is always the best day to go, and usually is the day that I try to go. A, it's cheaper, and B, less people. So C, I could possibly get in more meet and greets, maybe get more video, especially if I want to video an actor. I don't want to do it or try to ask for some video when there's a line of 80 people behind me, because I hate the idea of people waiting on me in any incarnation. But on a slower day, and again, it depends too. And then getting there super early, before even more crowds have a chance to show up. So that way, if there's an actor and there's only like 3 or 4 people in line at one time, then I feel a bit more inclined and comfortable to ask them if they would like to be on video, so that way I'm not impeding on any other fan time. So, um, so yeah, and then not only is Saturday and Sunday busier, but usually it costs a little bit more, ticket wise. So for Friday, it was only $30 to get in, but $12 to park. But still, like, compared to MegaCon, which, anywhere from $40 to $60 or more, or all of the other bigger cons or Orlando cons and things like that. Dave says, hard to believe how fit all of the original Power Rangers are still, too. Well, all the more reasons why I want to, stay fit. We can't fight this thing called aging, so I figured, why not do things that we can control, that contribute to making me look younger and not older. If I'm a 55-year-old guy with a gut, I'm looking like grandpa. But if I can shrink that down, have a nice trim waist and stomach, that could take 10, 15 years off my age, hopefully. So talking with Walter inspired me to get back on track to healthy eating and losing weight. Well, that's good. And I'm proud of you for doing that and sticking to it yourself. And we all do things our own way. But, as long as whatever you're doing works, and if it's working, that's all that counts. So, yeah. Which brings me to another topic, talking about the chocolate donut stream. So, as most of you know, I'm trying to lose weight and get back to the weight that I was when I was in my early 20s, of which, ironically, I don't even know what that number weight is. All I know is, I've been skinny my whole life, could eat whatever I want, however often I want, and wouldn't gain an extra pound of fat, even though I wanted to get bigger and look bigger and not be skinny. But it was around 2021 that one day out of nowhere, boom, just this huge gut out of nowhere, you know. Drank a lot of Mountain Dew, ate a lot of pasta, noodles, a lot of bad crap. Um, but it wasn't until 2017 that I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this gut. Let's see what I can do to get rid of it. So I started, researching how to lose weight, and I've been doing that ever since. Up and down in weight since I started. But I would say before I started, I was probably around the mid 160s. So, and then I started working at a valet company. Um, so, and of course, that involved a lot of running, parking cars, running back, parking cars, running back, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. And boy, did I feel it. Because I remember that first day, your first week of training, you're not even allowed to get cars yet. For your training, it's 5 days straight of parking. And after that first hour and a half, boy, was I feeling it and not feeling great. Yeah, feeling super nauseous and just, they came that close to having second thoughts about the job. But luckily, I decided not to and just powered through it. So just based on that, and over my first couple years of working there, that I'm sure brought down my weight, because when I decided to start losing weight and actually documenting and recording my weight, and when I got my first weight scale, I was at 158 pounds. So I probably lost 7 pounds just from running and doing the valet stuff. But I'm like, but still with a huge gut. So I wanted to, just keep on going. So got the weight scale, started researching, started recording and documenting my weight as well as my waist. So my highest recorded waist size was 38 inches and a half gut. Now I'm down to an average of around 32-ish, between 32 and 33 inches. Queers Man wants to know, Dave, are you going to steal Amy Jo from Lord Randall? No, he has Tina. So, yeah. So basically, yeah, I want to get back to when I didn't have a gut in the begin with. And, so that pretty much told me that no matter how I eat, I'm always going to be skinny, and any extra fat is just going to go to one place. And the only way I could get bigger is if I also did weight training and bulked up with muscle. But I don't have the time to do that. I don't have time for the time I have right now, so that's out. So the only thing I can do is, this permanent diet and, something, I like things that are set it and forget it, where I don't have to put extra time into, to where if I could just lose the gut and then maintain it by maintaining the healthy diet, then I'll be happy. I'll be over the moon once I get back to that point. But long story short, so from 2017, my highest recorded weight was 158 pounds, and then I got way down to the low 130s. So my lowest recorded weight since starting is 134 pounds. But I was only counting calories back then, and it's not always about just counting calories, because I was also still drinking soda. So I gained almost all the weight back in a short amount of time, and that's when I decided to start thinking about how can I cut more things out, how can I cut soda, how can I cut this and that, and then I started coming back down again. So now I've been floating between the high 130s and the low 140s for like the past 3 or 4 years. But as of recently, I've actually beat my previous record of 134, and my lowest weight as of last Saturday, 132 pounds. So, and again, I do not know or remember what my actual numbers were before all this started, before I gained the gut. So I'm hoping it's the 120s. If I had to go any lower than that, I'm going to be pretty worried and scared. But and Dave says it's all about discipline and mindful eating. That's right. So it's not just about losing the gut. It's also about being healthy and living a longer, healthier life as well, and avoiding all the crap. So, yeah, I would say for the past month and a half now, I've been consistently going down because I finally completely got rid of sugar altogether. So, yeah. So the plan is to do a celebratory live stream once I reach my goal weight, and then eat a big box of Entenmann chocolate donuts to celebrate. So I thought I would do that once I got rid of the gut completely. But I thought, you know what? No, because that might take too long. I would say, what if the day should come I actually can make it back into the 120s? I think that's when I'll do the stream. What do you guys think? But not not if I hit 129.9, right? I'm not going to celebrate too early and say I'm in the 120s and then gain back a pound, a pound and a half, and then be back in the low 130s the next week. So I want to make sure. So I would say once I get down to maybe at least, let's say 128, 127, so I have that room for error. So even if I do gain a pound or a pound and a half or so back, I'll still be in the 120s, because once I get there, I want to be able to stay there and never get back in the 130s, let alone the 140s, 50s, or 60s ever again. So that's that. Mr. Lantern, where have you been? I've missed you, man. I missed you. I missed you. Thanks for coming back. Yay. Lampy with the best community laugh ever. All right. So that's that. That's the update on the weight loss stuff. And of course, on that stream, I'm going to go into great detail about all the things that I've done over the years to lose weight, cut sugar, how I, and on and on and on and on. All my sources, what I got from where. I'm no doctor, so this is just stuff that I've, found on the internet, of course. So yeah, there's that. So we're off to see the list. So yeah, Spookala 2026. A vlog that has been in the works for weeks and weeks now, because aside from the actual event itself, I was working on other stuff that would also be used with the vlog, and it all makes sense when you check it out when it premieres later at 8 o'clock. And of course, because I'm so busy with the orders, if it wasn't for that and I didn't have anything else to do, this would have been up Saturday, Sunday at the latest. But it's just like, being pulled in 5 different directions at once. But, we do what we can to get it done, son. So, yeah. So I was excited to see Shannon Elizabeth, again, Jay and Silent Bob, 13 Ghosts, and Jay and Silent Bob. Yep. And she went into great depth about her career, past, present, and future in her live panel. So let's take a gander and see just some other things she talked about. She started out as a model, as most female actresses do, as a doorway, as to get into the acting business. So let's see. And again, like with most of these actors that I've only seen or known from 2 or 3 different things out of their vast career of like hundreds of things, a lot of, oh wow, I didn't know that, or that's interesting. So she talked about, like most actresses do, and actors that start out doing commercials, and oh, so let's see. Her first TV thing was Arlie. I don't know what that is. And then Hang Time, Blast, Step by Step, Step by Step, Day by Day. We go something in the day. People, whatever. Yeah, Step by Step. She was in an episode of Step by Step. I haven't seen Step by Step for years, but I definitely watched that, religiously as a kid. And Jack Frost video, but is it the same? It looks like a horror version of Jack Frost. I was like, I don't remember her being in Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. Well, that explains it. So, well, I need to go. Have a good stream. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Carrie. Much love, and hope to see you in future live streams. And I hope you have a good night. Thank you very much. All right. Juicy, what's going on? Here I am, just for you. All right. Um, so Shannon was in Pacific Blue, Seamless, Dying to Live, American Pie, Good versus Evil, Evicted, Enrique Iglesias music video, Be With You, Scary Movie. I I used to watch that back in the day, but it's been forever. American Pie 2, 13 Ghosts, Just Shoot Me, the Twilight Zone TV series, The Crooked E, The Unshredded Truth About Enron, Love Actually, James Bond, Everything or Nothing, Blit Happens, Johnson Family Vacation, One on One, Curse, That 70s Show. I used to watch that a little bit here and there too, but I don't remember seeing her, although I probably have. You Belong to Me, American Reunion, Melissa and Joey, and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which I enjoyed. Unlike Clerks 3. Oh boy, that was depressing. So yeah, a classic case of I only know her from like 2 or 3 things. And then we had up and coming horror star Violet McGraw from one of my newest favorite movies, Megan or Mithrigan, or however you pronounce it. And that was one of the last times I went to a movie theater to actually see a movie because I'm very, very picky with my movies. Um, there may be 1 or 2 movies that I want to see every 3 or 4 years. The last 3 I could remember seeing is The Equalizer 3, Beetlejuice, Megan, and Saw X. Out of the 20 to 30 to 50 movies that have come out in just the past 2 years alone. All right. Fangirl Kate, I heard that's what we are calling you now. That's what who is calling who now. Um, so yeah, what do we got here? So, oh, there's more. Wow. For being a young actress, she's been in a lot of stuff already. Her first being Black Bear featuring Gucci Mane, Do Me Re. And Reckless Juliet's TV series Ready Player One, have not seen it. Haunting of Hell House, have not seen it. She was in Law and Order. Bennett's War, Our Friend Dr. Sleep. So yeah, the only thing I know her from is Megan, who's the girl that has the doll, and the doll is trying to protect while killing everybody else. I highly recommend it. I like stupid, dumb stories like that, where just basically an AI robot that gets a mind of their own and becomes psycho. But it's like a comedy horror. Like it's you know one of my favorite movie theater memories that I remember. I remember it was so worth going to check out and having fun and having it on video. Since. Um, Vision says I'm probably gonna see Screen 7 tonight, but I know it's not. But I know it's not gonna be good. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like lots of movies where I go in, I want to see it out of morbid curiosity, but it just I know it's gonna suck. Like the latest Terminator sequels, pretty much any of the sequels or prequels. Although with Saw X, it was different, because it was supposed to be it's supposed to be a sequel that takes place of the events of the first movies. Um, I just knew it was going to be good, and I was right, and I'm glad. So, that's good. Equalizer 3, not that great. So there's that. It seems like the only way to hit it with me is like a movie that's starting from one, like Megan. It's not a sequel to prequel, it's an original movie. Maybe not completely original, because it's almost a remake of the remake of Child's Play, where that is an AI doll that gets a mind of its own and becomes psycho, but different enough to where I don't really care. I still like it. Pixel says, you would like the Terrifier movies. They're stupid and fun. Story gets better after 2, but still not super deep. Next one is supposedly the last one. I might check those out because, again, at all these horror conventions like Scaradise and Spooky Empire, it's nothing but Terrifier and Art the Clown, just the clowns. And I don't know. I guess I would get it if I actually seen it. I don't know. It just, any movie though with like any kind of clown, it just doesn't appeal to me. So I haven't seen the latest It. Not even the original either. It's just not my kind of movie. I don't like evil clowns. Not because I'm scared of them. I just don't. I'm not scared of them, and that's kind of the point. Is it's supposed to be scary, but it just looks silly to me. I don't know. Um, Mr. Lantern says, "Oh no, oh dear, oh my, oh lordy, oh crap." uh, what the heck? Supposedly the actor is really nice, but I haven't met him. Okay, the gore is good. Jean-Luc 5001, yo! What's going on? So other than Megan, the only thing I know Violet from, and Megan 2, again, not that great. And glad I didn't see that in the theater, because, you know, I waited, and I know, after watching the trailer, I was just like, you know, and yeah, so after watching it, that's a movie that I have no interest in seeing again. But the first Megan, that is my jam for sure. So yeah, and that might be another future item to get a nice Megan poster and have all the cast sign it and things like that. So that's Violet McGraw. Super adorable, super nice. So she was born on April 22nd, 2011 in California, USA. Best known for her work in a variety of both television and film. She has a passion for acting at a young age. She received her debut credited role in the 2018 in television series Love, where she played the recurring character of Nina. Right. And then we also had James Remar. And off the top of my head, I think I only know him from 2 things. But here he is. So how I've come to know who he is the first time I remember seeing him is for Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So I saw the first Mortal Kombat. That is in my personal collection of movies, and I watched it recently, and it just gave me the nostalgia feels, and it still holds up to me at least, and hasn't really aged that bad. But for what it was, really, really awesome movie, especially if you're into kind of fight movies like that. Great cast, great energy, great music, of course, the theme song. And then we had Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And this was at a time back then where I just hated movies that had sequels but had different actors that play the main character. And more than one time, it just drove me crazy. So I remember as a kid liking Batman and Batman Returns. But then, maybe, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe I would actually be more of a Batman fan if they continued with the Batman movies, but if Michael Keaton would have remained Batman for the rest of the movies. I think so, because I remember I had the toys. I remember rewatching the Batman Returns, behind the scenes stuff over and over and over again. But then, of course, we had Batman Forever. We had Val Kilmer, and then Batman and Robin with George Clooney, and it's like, why? Just because of that, had no interest in it. But if it had Michael Keaton, who knows? how much I would have liked Batman. But then after that, Batman just kind of faded in the background, and over time, I just became not a Batman fan. But I'll always be a fan of Superman, especially Christopher Reeve Superman. So when I saw I don't remember how. I'm pretty sure it was mainly like the trailers as well as maybe clips of it on TV, but I don't think to this day, made it a point to sit down and watch Mortal Kombat 2 from beginning to end because of the fact I remember, James Remar is now Raiden, and like he's a great actor, and I love his voice. Like I wish I had an epic voice like he does. But it was such a drastic change from the other actor. I would think they would try and find an actor that's at least somewhat similar to the previous actor, where the original actor, I think it was Christopher Lambert, that had that kind of higher, nasally, non-deep voice. I know I'm not doing a great impression of him, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't think so. So now James Remar, I am Raiden, and I am, like he has the voice where they should have cast him as one of the bad guys. Like he sounds more like a villain than a hero. And then on top of that, Raiden had the long white hair, and then suddenly he has short white hair in the movie, So that's my first memory of James Remar. Oh, he's the guy that took over the role of Raiden in the second whatever. So now whenever I seen him in any movie from then on, I was like, oh, it's Raiden number 2. The new Mortal Kombat with Carl Urban looks interesting. And that's just me. I'm very, very, very picky. Like, to me, that'll be the only Mortal Kombat related media that I'll ever be interested in. Like, I have no interest in seeing any of the new Mortal Kombats. Again, like with Batman, I think it would be the same thing where had they continued with all the original cast, if we could have had the Mortal Kombat trilogy and had that in my collection, I would probably be even more of a fan of the games and the movies, but it's just like stuff like that just ruins it for me when they change the actor so many times or at all. And I understand it's not always the actor's fault, or the actor probably wanted to, but had another gig already. So, it happens. And so, checking out James Remar. Is there anything else I know him from besides The Fast and the Furious? I don't know. So we got a whole bunch of movies since the early 80s, of course. The Equalizer TV series, Crime Story, Rent-A-Cop, Drugstore, Desperado, Fatal, White Name. Okay, we're in the 90s now. I don't see anything. Miracle on 34th Street. If that's the remake with the Matilda actress, I know I've seen that, but it was so long ago I don't remember seeing him from it. So without looking at the list, I would have no idea that he was in that. Judge Dredd, never could get into, and again, I think I may have seen one time, but only because a friend wanted to see it. So one of those kind of movies, but I myself just had no interest in wanting to see that. Again, I'm super picky with movies. I suck, I know. So that's why I'm anything but the movie master. So, yeah, saw him for the first time, Mortal Kombat, haven't seen the whole thing and never will. Justice League, The X-Files, The Twilight Zone, Fear X, Without a Trace. I'm not seeing anything. Warriors, the video game, doing a voice. The Batman, Pineapple Express. No movies that I've seen, or if I have one time, like 15 years ago. I'm actually kind of surprised. I would think there must be at least one or two more that I'm familiar with. Oh, duh! Again, as a voice actor, though. So yeah, as it turns out, he was the voice of one of the Transformers in Transformers Dark of the Moon as Sideways, who also voiced the character in the Transformers ride at Universal Studios. So that was another reason why I wanted to check him out and was excited to see him because of that. But again, that's kind of weird because I think the voice actor who did Sideswipe in the second movie done a lot of the other voices as well throughout almost all of the movies. So I'm wondering why it wasn't the same actor from Revenge of the Fallen that continued to do the voice of Sideswipe for the third movie. But yeah, so either way, Transformers Dark of the Moon. And again, I wouldn't know it unless I looked up the credits. So that's a second movie I only heard him in, and Universal Studios ride. Okay, so that's two things, kinda. Oh, and there's the credit right there. And Speed Kills, Destiny 2, Magnum PI, TV series. Yep, nothing else. And just worked on It, Welcome to Derry from 2025. So, isn't it amazing how some of these big name actors that also still work and still act also have the time to come out and do these conventions for all us little people? While you do have some actors that, another way of making money because they're not working on a movie or TV series, so in between gigs, that's something they could do, which is a great thing, a win-win for all the way around, a way for them to make extra money and a way for us fans to have a chance to meet these people live and in person. So, yeah, that's that. And of course, Tom Wilson, aka Biff Tannen from the Back to the Future trilogy, um, of which, of course, check out his YouTube channel. He puts out a lot of great videos. I especially liked his video talking about Adam the Woo and doing his little tribute. And okay, so I talked about that. Okay. So, although anything Carl Urban does, he becomes the character he's playing to a convincing performance. Was I gonna? Yeah. So, another thing that I also have no interest in is the new He-Man movie. Um, Again, I like the original Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren. Um, Even though, of course, it was produced by Canon Films, famous for doing too many movies with almost no money, and they are the company behind the disaster of a movie that was Superman 4. But when it comes to Masters of the Universe, Gary Goddard, the director, certainly I think did the best job that he could, and because he had a passion for making the best He-Man movie that he could, that he was actually, for me, like probably the best, like, canon film, one of the best canon films where it didn't look like they could cut corners. It looks like the budget is there. In my opinion, there's no cheap or cheesy special effects. Of course, they had to take the story to Earth to save on production, but for what they had and what he had to do, I think it's a better. I'm more of a proponent of the movie and more of a fan of the movie than most, because most people dog on it, for how cheap it is and how. And hello, Tina, again. Thanks for being here. Um, Gothic King Cobra, what's going on? You never see much of Carl Rural acting these days. I wouldn't know. Again, another actor I've never heard of. I haven't heard of a lot of people or a lot of movies. I'm just, kind of out of the loop more than I am. So, what do we got? All right, folks, thank you so much for the 13 likes. And in the past 24 hours, we've gained 2 more subscribers. So thanks for all my new people out there. Feel free to jump in. Don't be shy. Ask me anything that you would like to ask that hasn't been asked already. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't know if you guys would be up for a post vlog premiere live talking about uh, the Scaradise experience, as I don't want to talk any spoilers until afterwards, where we can maybe talk some more behind the scenes stuff and things like that. But, we'll see. But I would imagine this live will be enough, and then we'll have the vlog. So the plan is I'll end the vlog about a few minutes before 8, and then we could take the chat over to the premiere video and continue chatting there as we watch together live and in person for the vlog premiere of Scaradise 2026. Oh, Pixel says sure. Okay, if we can get at least 3 people that say they want a post vlog premiere live stream, we'll make it happen. Oh yeah. So, what else? Man is as as usual, nothing but a busy week, a busy weekend, busy everything else, and it's already the next weekend. It's like unbelievable. Um, so yeah. Um, so have y'all heard about what's going on with Jim Carrey and the whole controversy with him? Pretty crazy stuff. Um, oh, and they already announcing that guests for the next Scaradise. So this is something that takes place twice a year. One now, and then same with Spooky Empire. They do one like around this time, and then they do the other one around Halloween time. So especially if you're into Halloween, you got at least not one but 2 awesome horror conventions that you could go to, not including the Toy Cons. Okay, so far we only have one guest that I don't know. Melissa Barrera. She was in Your Monster, Abigail, Scream, whatever. So the next Scaradise is going to be from October 2nd to October 4th. Once again at the Florida State Fairgrounds. Oh, yeah. So, what else we got? Hey, where'd my screen go? Sorry about that, folks. Oh, it's right there. Okay, I'm back. We also have Fanboy Expo coming to Orlando. August 28th through the 30th. Let's see what guests they have announced so far. We have Randy Quaid, which I would like to meet because I love Independence Day. And Christmas Vacation is also pretty good. Let's see. Hey, guests. Yeah, I want to see celebrity guests. Celebrity guests, please. Yes. Um, we have Peter Criss from Kiss. I'm not a Kiss fan. Delta Burke, Randy Quaid, Heather Locklear, Nick Swardson, Alan Covert, and Joel David Moore from Avatar, Ian Bowen, Denham Richards, Jen Landon, Deborah Van Valkenburg, Lyndia Cornell. Lyndia? Is that a name? Jim J. Bullock. And again, last year I was planning on going to Fanboy Expo. and it was going to be on a Friday. And I didn't go, but guess who did? Adam the Woo. That would have been my last chance to have met him, So, too bad for that. So, now I'm kind of regretting not going at that time. So, there's that. What else do we got going on? Hey! No, I didn't want to do that. Okay. We got Tampa Comic-Con coming. Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters is going to be there. Ian Somerhalder, Kane Hodder, Alaqua Cox, James Marsters, Ashley Green, Kellen Lutz, Peter Facinelli, Jackson Rathbone, Erica Henningsen from Mean Girls. Don't know her, but she sure does look cute. And Amar Talai, Alex Brightman, Michaela Jill Murphy, Christy Carlson Romano, Michelle Ruff, Blake Roman, Vivian Nixon Williams, Stuart Sager, Richard Horvitz, Ron. I have not heard of any of these except Ernie Hudson. And the only reason I'd like to meet him is because he was the voice of one of the characters in Transformers Prime animated show. And of course, lots of exciting people for Spooky Empire, as we also want to meet the entire cast of Chucky. So we got Brad Dourif coming and Robert Englund. But I used to be a fan of Freddy Krueger and Jason and Mike Myers, but, they were fun and great, as a kid, as a teenager, but I just kind of outgrew the mindless killer slasher that, I don't know, that doesn't appeal to me anymore. So it's funny how sometimes you outgrow certain things, but then not others. Child's Play, that will always be my jam. So, of course, it'll be a dream to meet Brad Dourif and then Warwick Davis, of course. Don Mancini, creator of Chucky. Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter and star of Cult and Curse of Chucky and the Chucky TV series. Christine Elise is coming back, and Alex. And CJ Graham, looks like he was an actor in Jason. Amanda Wyss, Jennifer Rubin, Mark Halton, Tony Cecere, and Adrian and Coy Cecere. And there's still more to come, so I can't wait to see who else they're gonna. Got the King Cobra says, I'm drinking a full sugar Coke. Damn tasty. Oh man, oh man. Don't go too crazy with that now. You hear? Hey, Joey 090292. Yo, sweetie. Yo. So, getting close to that vlog premiere. What else we got? All right. So thanks for the new subscribers out there. We're working on it. And thanks for the 13 likes and the 10 of you people out there watching and joining me here today on this glorious day here in the land of Hollywood Toys, the only place where you can live the movies. All right. Thanks for anybody that shows up, whether it's for 2 minutes or the whole time. Y'all are the best. Mr. Lantern says, howdy, Joey. Numbers. Numbers. Yeah, numbers. Uh-huh. Okay. So another thing I still have to work on is working on my live topics list. But it's just like, once again, being pulled in a million other directions. I want to get this done. Okay. So I made a list to make sure. Okay, so I talked about past conventions, put out the link to the updated Celebrity Meet playlist. Scaradise explained, no spoilers. My Spookala Jurassic Park video and Super RetroCon and all that. Yeah. So yeah, they had lots of the Scream actors there, and then they have, of course, lots of cool vendors where they had, masks, horror busts, aliens, action figures, clothing merch. They had tattoo artists, and everything like that. Another, I didn't check to see if they had any movie cars. Because last time I went, they had Jurassic Park cars out there, but I'm pretty sure I would have noticed. But I was in such a rush to get in there and get what I needed to get that I didn't even think about that. And then, by the time I was ready to leave, it was raining. So even if there was any cars, I don't know. I just wanted to get out of there and get home. Stupid rain. Yeah. Joey says, when will we get GTA? Oh, man, I know. I want to get back to it soon. Soon. I just need to catch up on a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I need it too. Now that it just popped into my head, I don't know if any of you guys know, but I did have a technical issue when I was filming at Scaradise. When I switched to selfie mode, the camera, the video was off. We hit the weight goal yet? No, we're at least a few weeks away from that, but we're getting close. Last recorded weight is 132 pounds, so I'm just 3 pounds away from getting back into the 120s. And once we get to around 128, 127, regardless of how the gut looks, I think I'm just going to do the chocolate donut stream then. And then maybe I finally got rid of the gut stream, and then have something else. Maybe a big old pizza or something. I don't know. Maybe do a panel. We'll see. So yeah, I was doing selfie mode, and I noticed, like, I was way off-centered, no matter what I did. So and then a good thing I did some test video before, just days before, and I looked at it, and I was just fine. But the way it is now, I have to literally tilt the camera like this just to get me centered. And I know, that didn't happen before. So I looked at that video, and then I looked at, the image on my phone, and the only thing I can come to is somehow the selfie camera has zoomed in, cutting off, one end of the frame, and hasn't zoomed back out. But the weird thing is, there is no zoom feature on selfie mode when I go into selfie mode. So that's yet another thing that I just don't have time for, that I got to figure out how to fix. So hopefully there is an option to go back to a further restore point before the last update, which was February 15th, that might have done something. So, yeah, so I'm just been driving myself out of my mind trying to figure that out, because I got to get that fixed, because that's my main vlogging camera. And part of why I didn't get as much footage at Scaradise, because I was just getting so irritated, and there was so much more I wanted to get. So that was the downside to Friday. Excited to get the cool stuff I was able to get, but then I didn't get everything. So I'll go get into more if we can get at least 2 more that say yes, they want a post-vlog live stream. But if not, that's okay. We could always catch up some other time. So hopefully we can get that figured out. So always seems like there's some behind-the-scenes issue or technical problem, and then when I think I've encountered them all, and then something like that just pops up, along with some other issues that, again, I can't reveal yet without giving away any spoilers. So yeah, we're getting pretty close. Okay, so Joey says we always want a live. So that's 2 people that want to post vlog live. We just need 1 more yes. and we can make it happen. Again? Yeah. Woo! Okay. And what else we got? We'll open up my notes over here. Desktop TXTs. What am I missing? All right, so we did Scaradise. That's done. Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio was there for Saturday and Sunday, and I wanted to meet him, but he wasn't there for Friday, and I didn't know that. But good thing that was just one person down. So, hey, Biscuit. All right. You asked for it. You got it. Post vlog premiere live. The only place where we live and stream the movies. That's right. They also Alicia Witt was there. Again, have no idea who she was, but I looked up her profile, and she was in one of my favorite movies, Mr. Holland's Opus, as Gertrude Lang. So yeah, but I didn't get a chance to meet her. So next we have MegaCon Orlando, March 19th through the 22nd. So what do we got over here? John Cena, Diego Luna, Orlando Bloom, Liv Tyler, Elijah Wood, another Back to the Future cast member, so he is on my wish list to meet. John Boyega, Wyatt Russell, Lena Headley, Carl Urban, William Shatner. He always comes to MegaCon, which is still amazing, again, given how up in age he is, but still like in his 90s and almost 100 and up and active, just like Dick Van Dyke. Mr. T, definitely on my wish list for Rocky 3. Was never into A-Team, though. Helen Hunt from Twister and Mad About You. Robert Patrick, Terminator 2. Brent Spiner, again, not a Trekkie, but I do like Independence Day and love the part he played in that movie. And Heather Graham, loved her in The Spy Who Shagged Me and Anger Management. Corey Feldman, The Hocus Pocus cast, Mitch Pileggi, Dean Cundy, technically a Back to the Future cast member because he was the director of photography in those movies, but he also made a cameo in Back to the Future 3. Peggy the dog and Holly and Luke, this sad-looking dog with this tongue hanging out of its mouth. Joe Pantoliano, or Joey Pants for short, The Matrix. Definitely got to meet him. And some Halloween actors. Not a big fan of, going back to what I was saying earlier, is I kind of grew out of the original Halloween, but I do like the Rob Zombie Halloween. We got Milton from Office Space. Oh, yeah. And another one of my favorite movies, Ghost. Okay. And then we have another Collector Fest that's going to be in Tampa on April 18th. And then Collecticon on May 23rd. All right, let's see if they have any updates or added any new people yet. Instead of all these crap people that I don't know. Special guests, Bryce Papenbrook. Who is that? I don't know. Male Flanagan. I don't know. Trina Nishimura. Don't know. But she's cute. And Erica Schroeder. She was there last time next to Peter Cullen, but I just know she's from Pokemon. And it says more guest announcements coming soon. When? When is soon? And then House of Mouse Expo in July. It's going to have the Lawrence brothers. We're going to need a little more than that to kind of entice me to maybe want to go to that. And then after that, Fanboy Expo. After that, Tampa Comic Con. After that, Ocala Comic Con. Let's see if we got anybody there I want to see. Maybe, possibly. Oh, Randall, if you're watching, Miss Amy Jo Johnson will be there. And there will be Patrick Seitz, Brittany Karbowski. Wow, she's a babe. And Allegra Clark. Creator guest Alex Suviak. We need more people. We need more. And then Spooky Empire Part 2 will be October 30th through November 1st. Yeah. Joey says, can I explain Transformers to me? If I knew what the it is. Wow. But I would love to talk about Transformers too, since you asked. And if I don't get a chance to finish everything, I can pick it back up in live stream part 2. Amy Jo. Not bad. So, Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen. What is the plot? I don't know. It is one of the most confusing movies ever, but I still love it because I love Shia LaBeouf. I love John Turturro. Megan Fox is okay, I guess. And so when it comes to all of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, for me, it certainly don't have the greatest of plots, and the plots most of the time don't make sense, or they're just too watered down, too like Saturday morning cartoon type plots. So for me, the Transformers movies are more of a showcase of look what you can be done with special effects. Look at this awesome CGI, which is really, really cool, really great music. So for me, like those Transformers movies are really about clipping certain scenes out, like, oh, that's one badass scene, and that's another, and this scene gives me goosebumps and chills. But then there's lots of the movie where it's just like, what is happening here? But it's especially the most evident in, again, Revenge of the Fallen, where, and again, what I don't like about the movies is they're so confusing because they don't follow their own rules or their own continuity from the previous movie. Because according to the first movie, and this really becomes a problem in the latest Transformers movies. So, you want to see me rant on some crap. Woo! Yeah. So, according to the first movie, Optimus Prime explains that there was the cube, the Allspark cube that creates all life, other than us Earthlings, and that the Transformers have searched all across the galaxy trying to find it so they could rebuild their home of Cybertron, which was ravaged with war and death. So according to this movie, there's none of the Transformers have visited Earth yet, as the first thing to come to Earth was this big, giant, huge Allspark cube that crash landed on Earth. And then according to the canon, Megatron traced it back to Earth. So Megatron was supposed to be the first Transformer that came to Earth and crash landed on Earth. And then imprinted the coordinates of the cube onto Archibald Witwicky's glasses, Sam Witwicky's grandfather. And then thereafter, the other Transformers started showing up. And of course, Bumblebee was there first, but there's no telling how long he was there. We don't see him arrive to Earth. He's already on Earth in the movie, but there's no telling how, so we don't know how long he was there for, so we can only assume he came at some point after some point after Megatron. So Megatron is watching over Sam because he knows that Sam has the glasses that can lead them to the Allspark. Then all the other Transformers start coming. Oh, and then of course most of the other Decepticons are already there too, such as Blackout, the helicopter that shows up in the beginning of the movie. So in the second movie, now we're saying there's this other Cybertronian, the Fallen, this big, bad, evil X Prime that came to Earth who came to Earth in ancient times, supposedly well before Megatron came, to build this thing that can destroy the sun, and that's what they built the pyramids around, to hide that. And then the Transformers, the Autobots, joined the military and formed the military group called Nest. So now they're helping the military track down any Decepticon enemy incursions. And now they learn about this Fallen character who wants to acquire the leadership, the matrix of leadership that only a Prime can possess. But then in the movie, Megatron kills Optimus Prime, and Sam Witwicky gets imprinted by the images because he has a sliver of the Allspark. So now he has to use that to maybe find where this matrix of leadership is, because Megatron kills Optimus Prime, and Sam Witwicky says or figures out, can this matrix of leadership be used to revive Optimus Prime? So now he's on a quest to find the matrix of leadership. Then he finds it in ancient Egypt or wherever it was. But then when he gets to it, he finds it. It turns to dust. But he puts all this dust into a sock. No, not like that. Does still have holes in it, and it's not solid, and it's not going to hold all that dust anyways. But hey, it's a movie. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but when he gets to Optimus towards the end of the movie, through the miracle of magic, Cybertronian magic, he's able the matrix of leadership reforms out of the dust, even though all the dust couldn't have possibly have been with him, carrying it in a sock. Because Sam Witwicky dies, but then he goes to Cybertronian heaven and not regular heaven, where he meets the past primes that tell him how the matrix of leadership works, and that the matrix of leadership is not something that could be taken. It has to be earned. So by Sam showing that he was willing to sacrifice himself in order to save Optimus Prime and bring him back to life, the primes in heaven grant him the power, and then they send his body back so that Sam could come back to life. He gets the dust, and it forms into the matrix of leadership, and boom, puts it into Optimus Prime, bringing him back to life, which is one of those goosebump moment scenes. That is a really cool scene of Optimus coming to life. And then Jetfire, the big giant SR-71 jet that is old and decrepit, but he wants to fulfill his destiny and sacrifice himself to give Optimus Prime his energy source. So he does, so that Optimus Prime can fuse himself with his parts, ultimate jetpack, and Optimus Prime with "Let's roll!" and boom, and we're off to the races. So yeah, Yak says, is Optimus Prime the most powerful Transformer? I don't know. I've never heard of Octopus Prime. Maybe. Why are some Transformers cars and some animals? Man, you're just opening up all kinds of cans of worms, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. In a cartoon, yeah, you can get away with that kind of stuff. But in a movie, and Age of Extinction and The Last Night are just crap for me. I really don't like those two movies, and that's just one more reason to not like it. But at the same time, what kind of disguise is a big giant metallic dinosaur or Tyrannosaurus Rex, Grimlock, whatever, is supposed to be. Like, how is that a disguise, whether it's a robot or a big monster dinosaur? It doesn't make any sense, but you have to put it in the movie, and they did the best that they could do with it, and they are cool looking robots in either of their modes, but story wise, it's just hard to make that fit into the real world and make it make sense. Just like in Rise of the Beasts, like, why are they beasts and then why are they robots? Even as a beast, they don't look like a real living organic earth animal. They look like a robot animal. So they look like a robot either way. So what and how does that work? I know it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. So and do they get to choose if they are a semi or a Camaro? That is another great question, because I like another thing to kind of rant on when Bumblebee become upgrades to the newer Camaro, because as we all know, he starts in the movie as the 1970s clunker Camaro, which is why Sam is able to afford the car for only $4,000. So then, him and Michaela are riding in the car, Bumblebee taking them to meet the Autobots, and Michaela says, "What I don't understand is, if he's supposed to be this super advanced robot, does he transform back into this piece of crap Camaro?" And kicks them out and runs off. Is like, see? No. Fantastic. That is one sensitive robot. Now you've pissed him off. $4,000 just drove off. And then he goes to upgrade to a better car. And he just ever so happens to come across not only a Camaro, but not only a yellow Camaro, but another yellow Camaro with the black stripes. But it's one of the coolest scenes ever at the same time, to show how he goes up on his side, and then you see him come up, with the music, and then it's like, here I am. Is this better? So it's a great. It's one of those where it's like, it's a great scene, but it's, of course, it just doesn't make sense. Like, what if it was a blue Camaro that came by? Would he be able to still morph the blue into the yellow? What if it was a Ford Mustang? Or what if he would have been driving for miles looking for the type of size and body style that he is? Could he become scan a truck and become a truck? I don't know. Same with, but their Cybertronian exoskeleton, as they come in their raw form when they come to Earth, they are different sizes. So I would imagine that they are limited to only being able to scan and become things that are within their size. So and we see examples of this where they'll scan, they're looking over things to scan that they can maybe become, and then they scan this car, no, this truck, no, this no, oh, Camaro, oh, yep, and then bloop, 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 bloop. And then well, there it is. So yeah. And as cool as that is, and so do the animal ones scan animals? Man, you were just, yeah, I don't know. And if so, how did that one find it a T-Rex? Well, that was explained in that they found in the beginning of the movie, if you remember, they found the T-Rex, but I think they explained that it was millions of years old. Yeah, because in the beginning of the movie, they show the aliens that come down to Earth, and then they destroy Earth and cover Earth in molten lava, covering all of the animals on Earth in that metallic substance, and that's how that they became. Yeah, I know it's crazy, insane, doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. But still fun at the same time. Yeah. And then I have other questions, such as, if it weren't for war, all the war was over, what do Transformers do for fun? Do they sit around, hang out, and just talk? Do they play games? Do they have families? Like, is there a mom and dad transformer? Are there uncles and relatives? Like, how does that all work? That could almost become its own show, its own whatever. And I wouldn't be surprised if like some of the comics and books out there answer some of those questions, but I don't have the time to sift through and try and see any of those books or doodads or any of that good garbage. So yeah. Interesting stuff though, I gotta say. Or what would Megatron do if he could finally succeed in killing all the Autobots and taking over Cybertron? What would he do with a ruined planet? Like, what is his end goal? And again, I know they also explain a lot how Optimus and Megatron became enemies and that they were friends via Transformers 1, which, again, I have no interest in seeing whatsoever. Are there Transformer-like movies on their planet? Yeah. What is their entertainment media? Do they watch things just for the fun of it? Do they create content? What is their version of YouTube even? Yeah, these are very interesting questions. Lots of material that could be made into parodies and things like that for sure. Optimus Crime. And the other thing I don't like, I don't like about Transformers, as a lot of people have said, is it's like 80% of the story and movie revolves around the humans more than the actual robots. And one way I like to point this out, at the same time, I don't like ruining the movie more than I have to, even for myself, because I do love the first three. Is imagine replacing the robots with actual humans, and then see how quickly, even more, the story falls apart or doesn't make sense or becomes boring or like, you know what I mean? Like, think about it in that context. So I'm confused. You say you like the first three, but you hate the first one. I never said I hated the first one. I said I hate Transformers one, the latest one that came out. It's supposed to be the prequel that shows the origin story of how Megatron and Optimus Prime. Yeah, Transformers 1. That's what it was called. Transformers 1. ONE. Yeah. I like the first three. Transformers 2007, and then Revenge of the Fallen, and then Dark of the Moon. So, yeah. And I also liked Transformers Prime. So yeah, why would they do that? It's confusing. I don't know. We can only imagine how differently things would have turned out if we got a different director that had a different mindset, a different way, whatever. And again, rumors are still a brewing that there's going to be another new Transformers movie sequel that's going to bring back Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf. So we shall see. Hey, Lark. Woo! It's Lark times 5. How are y'all? I'm doing great. And my team here is helping me hold down things as well. So, thank you for the 13 likes. And thanks for the 9 of you out there watching. I really do appreciate it. Love you all. Oh, yeah. So, we're going to be ending this stream soon so we could hop over to the premiere vlog and take the chat over there. And then we're going to do a post live stream, a post party, talking about the vlog and anything you want to know. I'm going to go into some behind the scenes stuff on the video here and there, just for the heck of it. And Joey says, we are learning Transformers lore. Well, we're trying to, either learning, but at the same time being just as confused, trying to figure out the lore, because of how confusing it is. And I do like the Transformers games too, that's for sure. And then, hey, howdy, Lark. Hey, y'all, Mr. Lampy, y'all. Do they eat? Well, their source of energy is energon, but how and where do they get it, and how do they consume it is a great question. And how do they reproduce? Well, again, according to the first movie, any new forms are created using the Allspark. But that is still confusing in a way because in the first movie, it seems like all it does is take an already existing electronic and turn it into a transformer, and they're always evil. So, how and where did the good transformers come from, and how did they get made with the Allspark? I bet Monster Energy drinks have Energon. Oh yeah. Uh, but then in Dark of the Moon, we see Starscream back on Cybertron, I think, uh, growing and hatching little Transformers. How is he doing that? I don't know. Um, Fangirl Kate says, "Did you like Megan Fox better than Rosie Huntington Whitley? Is that the one who played Carly?" Yeah. In a way, I think I do like her better, and no reason why we can't bring her back. She was in three. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember her. She's the blonde in the third one. Um, just between her and Megan, just way too skinny for my taste, though. Let's 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 get some curves in there. You know what I mean? Plump it up a little bit. Um, Megan was in one and two. Yes. Um, and Shia LaBeouf arrested again for another fight or something. So now I'm starting to get worried. You know, he's starting to do cons, and I'm hoping that one of these days he'll do a Florida con. But with all this trouble that he still seems to be getting himself into, I don't know, man. Like, come on, Shia. I need that bro pick. Where are you at? Let me talk some sense into you. Um, are you afraid he will try to fight you at a con? Well, no. It seems like all these fights seem to take place at bars, so I'd imagine when he's drunk or he's confronting someone that's drunk. So a whole different atmosphere and whatever. And being at a con where you have thousands of people, not just waiting in line for him, but all around, like I think he's not that dumb to cause a fight at a convention, because then his convention career would be over and things would be even worse. So I would think like he has no choice to be on his best behavior making public appearances like that versus at a bar where, it's not quite as public or anything like that. Um, yeah. And, Sam Witwicky's parents, are such a blast. Uh, Hopefully, like any of the Transformers people, that can come to some cons, that'd be great. We want to see y'all. We're a fan, you know what I mean? Um, Carrie enjoys Transformers 2. Oh, that's cool. Um, I like Shia and Peanut Butter Falcon. I have not seen it. It's action packed and family friendly, so she likes it. Oh, okay, yeah, kind of family friendly, but has little sexual innuendos and jokes and kind of crass humor. You know, so I wouldn't exactly call it family friendly. I think it's like at least a PG-13 movies, but I don't care about that. So, okay. In case we weren't there already, but I'm pretty sure we were. Let's get this started. Yeah. All right, we're going to end it here and then jump over to the vlog premiere, and then we'll open up another live. So, Pixel says, been listening while playing the newest Resident Evil. All right. So I put the link to the video if you weren't there already. So once again, we're going to end this live and bring the chat over to the vlog premiere and then come back here with another live. So I'll see you guys over there, or be square. See you in a minute.